Oh no.
Well, welcome
Are
to
you
this
there?
edition of the Pulse of Spokane. And as you can see on the screen, Jenny Graham, my representative from the 6th District here in Washington, is going to join me today to talk about all my words, the crazy things going on in Olympia. And actually, it's not Olympia so much because it's everybody's working, or so many are working from home, as is Jenny. We have her live today, and we're going to be talking about some very serious things up next on the Pulse of Spokane.
National Barricade and Sign Company is a well-established company founded in 1957. National Barricade has become a well-known business in the Spokane Valley for more than 50 years. Over the years, we have built long-lasting relationships with many cities, counties, and their departments of transportation. Customers come to us because they know they are going to get the best quality service at the best possible price. National Barricade prides itself on getting the job done in a timely manner. We know that contractors must have certain items in a timely fashion to get their job done, and if we don't have it, we will get it. We guarantee fast service no matter how long it takes.
When COVID shut down construction, the Spokane Home Builders Association fought to get our industry back up and running. We are meeting the need of a record housing shortage with builder members like Eric Madsen Homes and Ryan Built Homes, local experts, proven leaders. We are the Spokane Home Builders Association, building our community one home at a time.
Well, welcome, Jenny Graham. How are you?
Oh, Kent, I am working hard.
Yeah. Now, are
That's
you at
how I
home,
am.
or are you in your Spokane office, or how are things going these days? I mean, I never know where
Well,
anyone is.
yes, our legislative offices are still closed, so I'm operating from my office at home
Okay.
today,
All right.
and we've actually been operating from our offices during this legislative session. It's been remote,
Yeah.
except for a few of the representatives that are at the Capitol.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is you're working 24/7, aren't you?
Yes.
All
And
right. That that's
yeah,
that's
and
my
that includes
representative. All right. You and
that's
Mike
right. That
Volz
includes
and Jeff Holy are working 24/7. I love it. You make so much money that way, right? You get paid flat no matter how
whatever.
many hours, right? Hey, Jenny, thank you. Number one, great election last fall. Not bad. Winning by what, 7,000 votes?
Yeah.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good. Well,
Yes.
it's good. That's a good strong finish for your second 2-year term here. I want to talk about what's going on, and there are some things that concern me, and I'm going to say in Olympia because that's headquarters for our legislature and so forth. But what are some? Tell me, what are some of the things that are bothering you, and some of the things that we over here should be worrying about? And you and I have talked about some things in the last couple of weeks, but I don't remember the bill numbers or anything like that. But what's coming down the pike? And let's remember, viewers, that both the Senate and the House are controlled by Democrats, and so it makes it really hard for them to let Republican ideas come in at times. You've got the ear of some respectful Democrats that understand the real issues of the public and so forth. But um, tell me, number one, what's on your agenda that we need to talk about?
Well, the first thing that I want to say is thank you to your listeners, viewers, for tuning in. I think that it's been concerning that I can say that there probably have been more people that have been tuning in to what's going on with basketball than what's happening at their the
Yeah,
state legislature, and these horrific bills that are being pushed through, because we have a 57 Democrat majority versus 41 Republican minority.
right.
And these decisions, these bills that are being pushed through, are going to land right at their doorstep.
Yeah,
And so there are a number of issues, and they all coincide with each other. We really are at a point of a perfect storm when it comes to these bills, all working. You got to look at the 300-foot level and
Right.
not just look at them individually, but look at them connected.
Yeah.
And you don't need a crystal ball to see how things are gonna end up. So it is vitally important, getting out this information that, Kent, that I am the voice of the people, but I also rely on the people being informed about what's going on so that we work together as a
Yeah.
team.
Well,
So some of the
of all the people I know, you talk to an awful lot of constituents on a constant basis. I mean, you
Mhm.
make the calls, people call you, they email you, and so forth. You probably drive some people crazy, like the phone calls and all that. But we all begin to understand what's going on because you send us that information. And I think that's vitally important. And about the
right.
basketball, we only have 2 more games left, okay? And honestly, with all this going on at the national level and even at the state level, we need some good news once in a while. But
Yes, we do.
let's talk about what
Yes, we do.
we as voters and constituents can do to help you on some of these bills. So let's start with one that I know really concerns you, and that's the letting out of criminals.
Okay, so we have a couple of them, and if your viewers want to go to ledge.wa.gov, they can actually pull up the bills to read them
Okay.
for themselves. Okay, so there's Senate Bill 5163 concerning the placement and treatment of conditionally released sexual violent predators. That includes those coming from McNeil Island. And this is important because this loosens the least restrictive alternative standard in which they have to be released by at this point.
Would this
Another one of the bills,
would this include people like Kevin Coe?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, he would because if he's in McNeil Island, he is civilly confined, not criminally
Okay.
confined.
Right.
And this is going to it is going to have a huge impact on our community because there's more bills that require them to go to their county of origin. And then we also have issues in these bills that in plain English you can read. I've done it in committee. They can go to tvw.org to pull up the archives of the committees where I literally read from the bill saying that when these violent sexual predators or murderers, because that's another one of the bills to let out murderers from and the not guilty by reason of insanity individuals as well. So here's the kicker to these bills that the people need to absolutely reach out to our governor with their outrage is that at a time in which we are holding law enforcement accountable and we're cutting their funding and their tools to be able to do their
Right.
job,
Right.
these are going to put them in danger as well. They're adding a caveat in there that says the people that are making the decisions or doing the supervising of these individuals, neither the state nor their agents nor employees or other individuals that are making the decisions or supervising them can be criminally held accountable or civilly liable unless the average person can prove gross negligence.
Yeah. Which means
So
hiring a lot of attorneys and spending a lot of money. What you're
right,
saying is if I supervise a Kevin Coe or other people like him, I'm not going to be criminally or civilly liable for saying he's okay to put back into the public.
that's right.
That's
That's
really
right.
scary,
These
Jenny. That's
that's right.
really
These are
scary. Think about our
that's right.
daughters, our wives, our grandkids, for people like that. I mean, that guy is absolutely nuts, okay?
Right.
And I could say some
So
other things,
Kent,
but I'll get preempted.
yeah. So Kent, here's another thing. The gun bill 5038.
Yes.
So now with these violent individuals being released into our community, you are also not going to be able to open carry in many places. This isn't just the Capitol. this affects places that get that have permits that are uh, that are given, and you also are not allowed to take that firearm and lock it into your car where it's out of sight and
Right.
it's secured, which is what our law allows you to do at this point. Uh, and you have no idea. There could be some sort of a protest that's moving, and now you're in violation of the law. And if something goes sideways, it's a year in jail. Think about that for law abiding people. And we have laws already on the books for people
Yeah.
that commit crimes. Brandishing is against the law, threatening people is
Yeah, but
against
the
the law.
criminals don't follow the law. You can make more and more and more laws. We know that. We've seen that. And the criminals don't follow the law.
No.
It punishes the rest of us to protect our families and our workers
Right.
and so forth.
Right. And at the same time, we're in this perfect storm that I'm talking about.
Right.
The laws are being passed, and there's multiple ones concerning use of force that is really going to tie the hands of our law enforcement when these dangerous situations happen.
Yeah.
I'm sounding the alarm. I am not afraid to talk about these really
Je-
tough issues. We
Jenny,
have to.
I'm going to guess that most of the Republicans understand the Constitution and things like that, and will vote the correct way on these bills, whether they be in the Senate or in the House. Do we have Democrats from our area that are listening to you and others and are leaning to be fully supportive of not passing these things?
No, it's just the opposite.
Really? In
Again,
our area?
yeah, in our area, it's just the opposite. And again, they don't have to take my word for it. They can go to tvw.org and pull up the archives to watch any of the committee hearings or the floor debates. And, you know, specifically, there was a letter that was brought up that was signed here that prevents individuals from carrying downtown if we have violent situations happening. But you know, the point, and the point was made that the business owners signed it. Well, I disagree. I didn't sign it. I know there were a lot of business owners that didn't sign it, and they're not happy about the fact that there are some individuals that are vandalizing and doing a lot of damage and hurting people, including our officers.
Yeah.
And they haven't necessarily been being held accountable. And actually, I sent an email asking, where's your outrage on that?
Yeah.
Where is your outrage? You're going to go after people that have not committed a single crime, harmed a single person. But the ones that are actually doing it with these laws, what we're doing is saying, come on in.
Yeah.
You know, and they're shortening the sentences. Those were amendments that I was also adding, that if somebody has a gun enhancement to the crime that they've committed, they're not eligible for early release or least restrictive alternatives. Why are we not going after the people that they're not following our laws? They have no problems breaking the laws or hurting or killing other people, and they're doing it again and again and again. But we're going to punish hardworking, law-abiding people.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Jack, I mean, your administrative assistant there, and that's probably not his title, is Jack, right?
Yeah, by
Okay.
LA.
Okay. I would like him to send me, because I don't have the time to look it up, the list of the Democrats, or even if there's a Republican in our area that's supporting any of these bills, because I want to be sure I'm accurate, and I'm going to come on my program sometime in the next week or two, and I'm going to list them so the public understands. I'm sorry, there is no excuse for this. We need to call their attention to what's going on.
Right.
We've got, even in the city of Spokane, as you know, the big races in the city of Spokane and in the valley are the city races coming up, and we've got several city council people that are either not running or they're opting out because they've had two terms and so forth. In my district, we've got one city council person who is running for a re-election, and our mayor is going to support her. She's a Democrat. I'm going to call our mayor out And the reason I understand from what I've been told is, well, Betsy listens every so often and hasn't voted bad. No, her voting record clearly indicates that she's voted with the left wing side and only yes on some very safe kinds of things. We need to move. All politics are local, and these are coming back to hit our local people. That's what I'm worried about. The folks that are watching this program and all of our programs are basically Spokane and Inland Northwest folks, and we need, for the first time, to stand up and re-elect or elect some people that have a business mind, that endorse and love our U.S. Constitution in addition to our state Constitution.
Mhm. Yes, and I was going to say too, you wouldn't have to even take my word. If they go to ledge.wa.gov, they can pull up our voting records.
Okay.
And so the one other quick thing that I want to mention,
Yeah.
and I talked about this on the Jason Rantz show that I did, was
name
that
dropper.
the
He's
the,
getting quite a
the-
profile across the country.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and so there's individuals that really believe in gun control,
Yes.
that they really believe that if we pass these laws, that it's going to prevent these crimes from happening, from bad people being able to get their hands on guns or other weapons, because this is knives too. It works in some of the situations. Unfortunately, it doesn't work most of the time. And then
Yeah.
there's the gun accountability group. Okay, that's where we're missing the boat.
Yeah.
That is where we should be focusing, is on keeping the individuals managed that are the ones that are responsible for the crimes and the harm and the murders that are happening. I cannot underscore this enough. It is serious, and you know what? It really shouldn't boil down to Democrat or Republican.
Right.
And and I'm gonna say that I don't know what's in their hearts. I don't know what their motives are.
It's common
do know-
sense that we
Right.
need to be
What
able
I
to
do
protect
know that
ourselves.
is- right. What's not happening though is we're not sitting down at the table. And I
Yeah.
would love to do it on a show like this,
Okay.
where we have opposite sides that are talking about these issues. You have people running from the gun issue as far as they can with their hair on fire.
Yeah.
And would they blame anybody if you're a politician for doing that? The people in my district voted in favor of these gun bills. But I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, look, this was before the year of violence that we've had.
Yeah.
This was before people were going through neighborhoods and telling people to get out of their house, or pulling people out of their cars and beating them, or blocking off highways. Do you realize that in one of these, the bills for 5038, if you get stopped on the highway and you have a gun in your car at that point, it is a protest. You are now in violation of the law because you are within 250 feet of that event. This is poorly written legislation. It is going to harm good people, and I cannot and will not stand by quietly
Well,
and watch this happen.
it's
But
nothing-
I am willing to work for solutions.
Yeah, it's nothing less than idiotic. I don't know how to say it, and I know you're a politician and you will say things perhaps less caustic than I will, but honestly, there is just no excuse for this, and we need to call out to get some of the left-wing folks to sit at the table, have the guts to sit at the table and talk about things instead of just endorsing bills. We've got about 3 minutes left. What else is, I'm afraid to ask, what else is going to hit us?
Well, like I said, there are and you'll notice I didn't introduce legislation this session, and I didn't do it because I believe that we should have been dealing with COVID and getting our businesses open and our kids back in school.
Yeah.
And the people vaccinated that needed to be vaccinated. Those were my core and our budgets. Those were my core focus. And in the interim, I have all these other crazy bills that make no sense. we're having to do this over Zoom, which is incredibly hard. This is,
Yeah.
I have to say, the hardest session I've ever been involved in.
Yeah.
And the people are not allowed in the people's house. So they are having a hard time. Their voices are being shut down. And it's wrong. We need to
Right.
get the people's house open. We need to include the people in these decisions that are being made.
Yeah.
Not make the decisions for them and force it on them and punish them if they don't agree.
Right. It's crazy. You're our representative. Even the senators represent us. How do you get intelligent feedback from those of us voters that voted if we can't see what's going on or be a part of what's going on and so forth? We need to take more action. Okay, there's a way, in many ways, to come on and see the committee meetings and so forth. How do people do that? Where do we send them to get those links and so forth if we're interested?
Well, if they go to ledge.wa.gov,
Okay.
there are links there.
Okay.
And they can also, for more information, they can go to the Washington State House of Representatives
Okay.
or Senate. Go to our page. You can sign up for my newsletter.
Okay.
There's also a number of really good articles in there to help keep them informed. And I love it when I get phone calls and emails from people that are asking me questions about bills,
Right.
or there's a message that they want me to get across. That is, we have to do this together. I
Yeah.
trust the people in my community to make good decisions. I trust our leaders, but I'm not having the ability to meet with our city leaders. I'm not having the ability to meet with our mayor, and there's a disconnect there.
And that's going to come from those of us who request that things open up and you hear from more folks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We really, really need them. I know that they feel like their voice doesn't matter. The only time that it doesn't matter is when they don't feel that it matters and they don't use it.
Yeah.
Or the other thing that's just as dangerous is saying, well, everything's going to be okay. It always works out.
Yeah.
No, we need you. You are this is you. You are the people. I am bringing your voice to Olympia.
Right.
I need to have
And we
you
need to
involved.
remember that. We need to remember that. Honestly, you work for me. You work for
That's
my
right.
neighbor. You know?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny?
And that also includes listening to both sides of
Yes.
the same coin.
Yeah. Well, the
So-
other side on some of these bills won't want to sit down unless some of their voters say, no, this is idiotic. You need to talk with the Republican side to come to a reasonable conclusion. So there's
Yes.
some sanity to what you're doing, okay? Because my guess
Right.
is some of the Democrats that I know would be appalled to hear what we've just talked about today. You know, that they
Right.
don't really
And I'm
haven't
sorry
heard that.
The criminals are not going to stop to ask if you're Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
I don't. When somebody calls me, I just pick up the phone and help
Right.
you know,
Right.
as much as I possibly can.
Right.
Who calls or who sends me emails.
Yeah.
And emails are great because then I have a record that
Right.
people are asking.
Well, and
for
if you
this.
can't talk to somebody, then you've got something to read before you get back to them and so
Right.
forth. Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
crazy world with the electronics today, but make use of it. Folks.
That's right. There's a lot of really good things that have come out of this. I'm going to
Right.
fight to keep the
Yeah.
Zoom available because that was really important to me because I, as a private person, was having to travel to Olympia on law reform.
Yeah.
And I believe that we should have this tool available because it's harder for us to get over to Olympia. And we also have elderly and we have disabled individuals
Right.
that have just as much right to be heard on
Yes.
these issues.
Right.
So they have it in the Senate, and now we have the opportunity to make sure that we can listen to everybody in
Yeah.
our state, and they have an opportunity to be heard.
Well, the bills are starting to come forward on the taxes and all that. And so that's something we'll want to talk about here not too far off in the future. I saw an email come from Jeff Holy. I think it was last night or this morning in by email. And there are some crazy things going there. And from all I've heard from all my friends in Olympia, and I put quotes around it, we're not in a panic situation for the budget at all, even though we've come through a pandemic. There's not a need to have more taxes. Am I right? As a general
You
rule?
are right. You are right. Just so that you're aware, we are already back to pre-pandemic
Yeah.
funding. So, and then some, and
Yeah.
then some.
Yeah.
And then some. There's
Yeah.
no reason for there to be any more taxes instituted,
Yeah.
especially with so many people still out of work.
Out of work and
that-
businesses trying to make it. And you know, Jenny, our base has been small businesses here, and that's what our station is all about. And I'm so tired of listening to business people tell me, I don't know if we're going to continue to make it. And you know what they're doing in Olympia now? They're wanting to tax me even more, which means I'm going to have to let employees go and so forth. We'll
Right.
get into this in the next couple of weeks as things
Yes.
move forward and there are
Yes.
specific bills and so forth. But I want to plant in our viewers' mind, there is not a need for new taxes at the state level, okay?
No.
And so we are in good shape considering all that's going on. Where the problem is in the business community, and taxing more is only going to hurt them, and jobs for your son, for your daughter, for your family, maybe even for yourself. Jenny Graham.
Well, it's going to hurt the elderly too.
Yes.
So
So-
everybody.
Thank you for what you're doing. And I know you're working from home today because you told me. I expect I can call 24/7 and get. No, I'm
Yes.
kidding. Thank you.
Actually could though.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for what you're doing, and I'm very proud of my three representatives, Jeff Holy, Mike Volz, and Jenny Graham. They represent me well, and I hope they represent the rest of you in the 6th District. Thanks for watching this special edition of the Pulse of Spokane, everybody. Have a great day.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Pulse. We are where you are. Check us out on any of these other platforms as well as our website. This show is sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Homes for You, and Apex Cannabis.